Hi, everybody. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney, and I'm based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. And I'm here today to take your immigration questions, answer your immigration questions. But when we get started, I want to address the question for today. So each time that I go live, I will be talking about a question that comes up in our practice that is raised by many of our clients or by people that call our office. Okay, so today's question that I want to address is something that comes pretty often to us, and it's a case type that we handle, pretty often. So the question is, I have a U.S. citizen child who is 21, right? At least 21 or over, so it could be, over 21. So my child is a U.S. citizen. He's at least 21 years old. I'm out of status. Can I get a green card? Can I get a green card now through my child who's 21? So the answer is usually yes. Yeah, yes. So everyone's case is different. So call us directly for a consultation if you have a specific situation that you think isn't what I'm talking about right now. But essentially, if you have a 21-year-old child who is a U.S. citizen, you should most likely be able to get a green card, right? So the process is different depending on how you entered the U.S. Most of the time, I should say. Or there's three different ways to get a green card, perhaps, if you have a child who is a U.S. citizen. Okay, so one of the first way is, let's say you entered with a tourist visa and your status expired. Right? Let's say you entered with a tourist visa and your status expired. You might still you can still have your child sponsor you because you have that legal entry. That entire process happens in the United States without you having to leave. Okay, it happens in the United States without you having to leave. So essentially, once we submit the application in about 6 to 8 months, you'll have work authorization. You'll have a social security number. So if you've lived all these years without status in the US, you would be able to apply for a social security number. You would be able to get even travel authorization to come in and out of the country. So this is for people that have entered legally. Right? So first we apply, USCIS takes the case, starts processing it, assigns us a number, and then you'll have your fingerprinting done, which is very simple. It's just a quick background check. If you don't have a criminal history, nothing to be concerned about. If you do have a criminal history, it still may not be an issue. You should definitely schedule a consultation to kind of check that out. But you'll have work authorization and travel authorization in about 6 months after we apply. And you would also get a social security number if you've never had one before. So that's super exciting for people that have been here for many years without status. You can go home, you can visit family, especially now with the COVID restrictions lifting, you have some options there, right? And then you would be eligible, you may get a green card interview. Some people do not, but you may get a green card interview. And we would, our firm would represent you at that interview as well. We would get you ready for that interview. And that happens usually about 1.5 to 2 years after we apply. And you would get a green card, right? And after 5 years as a green card holder, you can apply to be a U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen. So it's very exciting. So if you came in with a tourist visa and you have at least a 21-year-old U.S. citizen child, they can sponsor you for a green card, and you would have work authorization, you would have travel authorization, and usually in about 2 years, you'd have a green card. So that is a smooth process. This is assuming you don't have any prior removal orders. This is assuming you don't have a criminal history. If you do, we might still be able to help you. Give us a call because there are different types of things that can be filed if you do have a prior removal order or other things of that sort. So let's say in the other possible scenario for people that came into the U.S., they don't have status, and they have at least a 21-year-old child or older that's a U.S. citizen, right? So we have clients in this situation as well. So basically in this scenario, the person entered without status, right? So they entered illegally, they crossed the border illegally, and they have a child who is 21 or over that's a U.S. citizen. Can they apply for a green card and not have to leave the U.S.? So in certain circumstances, yes, they would be eligible to apply for a green card without having to leave the United States, right? So in certain situations, absolutely yes. So it depends on what the relationship is like between the child and the parent, right? Is the child rebellious? Is the child do nothing around the house? Does the child, make you feel like you've got to drive them around or pay for their phone or pay for their belongings? Do they start calling you names, calling you lazy, speaking in English just so you don't understand them? So these are all kind of some scenarios that our clients have had that help them. Essentially, it's an overall picture that help them apply for and receive a green card. So these are people that did not enter legally. Keep that in mind. They didn't come into the U.S. legally. What they did was they entered without papers. They ended up having a child here in the U.S. The child is now 21 or over, right? And because of their relationship with that child, because of the issues in that relationship, they're able to apply for and receive a green card on their own. So they don't have to file a police report or anything like that. There's no police report or anything like that involved, but they're being emotionally, psychologically, verbally harmed by their child, right? Their child is rebellious. Their child is saying things to them that are putting their feelings down. They might be eligible. You might be eligible for a green card, even if you entered without papers. And that whole process happens in the U.S. without you having to leave. So once you file, or once we file for you, you would get a work permit in about 6 to 8 months, and you would get a green card in about 2 to 2.5 years. So that's actually the big benefit. And then within 5 years, you can apply for citizenship. So this is kind of a really cool option for people that don't even know that it exists, right? They don't even know that it exists, because many people will think that if you came in illegally, you have your 21-year-old child, you have to leave the U.S. to process your green card and apply for a waiver. So that's another way. That's another way to do it as well. But you may be eligible, right? Depending on your situation, you may be eligible to process that whole green card right here in the U.S. So the important thing, if you're in this situation, is to make sure that you schedule a consultation with an attorney. We represent clients all throughout the United States. We represent clients internationally as well. So we have a whole number of clients all over the world, really. But the majority of our clients are in the U.S., but it doesn't matter where you're located, right? We are located right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. However, if you don't want to, you don't need to come to the office in person. We can still represent you no matter where you are located. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. And because immigration is a federal practice, it doesn't matter where. I'm licensed in Maryland and DC, but as long as I'm licensed and in good standing, I'm in one location, I can represent you no matter where you're located in the U.S. because immigration is considered a federal practice, so it doesn't matter where you are. So the way we handle our clients is essentially our clients that aren't here in person, and many of our clients don't want to come into the office because it's not as convenient for them, right? So they can take meetings at lunch, on their phone. So they can upload documents, they can mail documents to our office. So it's been pretty seamless for us. We've always had virtual capabilities because we represent a number of companies as well that are not. The companies don't have the time to come into my office all the time, right? So we've always been set up to handle cases virtually. Some people prefer to come in, and that's cool too. So just let us know however you want to be handled. But don't let the fact, if you want to work with us, don't let the fact that we're not in your area stop you. We can still help you with your immigration case, and we have clients all over the country, from California, New York, Texas, anywhere, really most states we have clients in. Okay, so if we can help you, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me at 703-348-1663. Again, that's 703-348-1663. I'll go ahead now and take some of your immigration questions. I am live. I try to be live pretty often. So I'm live on both Facebook and on TikTok right now. We're streaming live on both platforms. My handle on both is at Agarwal Immigration. So that's Agarwal. The word immigration. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, like us on Facebook. If you want to be notified, of course, if you want to be notified that when I go live, because it does change on a day-to-day basis. Okay. But this is an opportunity to really just ask your immigration questions. Don't be shy. I will go ahead and answer them. A heads up, that I may need to do a consultation with you to get some background information about you, your entry, your case, in order to give you specific information. So I will be general in my responses here. Okay. Stanley says, please, can you tell me more about the essential workers? So the essential workers, it varies, right? So if you have a work visa in the U.S., you might be categorized as an essential worker. And right now, depending on which country you are from, if you have a work visa, you may be categorized as an essential worker. The thing to remember, and that would let you enter the US, right? But just be careful. These things are changing on a daily basis because of the virus. So you need to check the CBP site, the Customs and Border Patrol site, to tell you who they're letting in on which day. So if you don't have to travel internationally, don't. If you're a US citizen or a green card holder, you can come in pretty much no matter what. You can come in no matter what. The people that are on visas are the ones that have to be a little bit more careful. So if you have an H-1B, if you have an E-visa, you could be considered an essential worker. Just make sure that you look into whether a national interest exception is required. So if an exception, that basically means there's a ban. So right now, for example, from India, there's a ban on people coming into the country. So you may need to apply for a national interest exception, which lets you kind of show the U.S. that you are able, that they should let you in, right? They should kind of lessen or, I don't know, forgive the ban for your situation and let you in. Okay, so make sure if you're traveling abroad that you are aware of the CBP website and what the restrictions are, and see if you need a national interest exception and how to apply for one, which is usually going to the embassy abroad to get a visa stamp and submit your documents to get an exception. Okay. Fayed says, hi, can I be your son? No, no, but thanks for following me. I have a son and he's wonderful and he just turned 7 years old. All right. Stanley says, please, can you tell me more about essential workers? I think I just told you I have that comment 3 times, so maybe you by accident typed that in. I'm not sure. Mike says, I'm a British citizen. I'm applying for a green card. Is it compulsory to be cut? I don't know what you're talking about, Stanley. What do you mean, is it compulsory to be cut? Let me know. Let me know what you're talking about, if it's compulsory to be cut. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Vijay says, hi, how are you? Hi, Vijay. Nice to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Yams Dasu saying, what code must I add? I'm not sure what code you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not sure what code you're talking about. If you want to call us for a consultation, we're at 703-348-1663. I don't know what this person is saying on TikTok. Diva Queen has said, hi, can I take interpreters to the interviews inside? So hi, can I take interpreters to the interview inside? So technically, right now, because of the pandemic, you are not allowed to take your interpreter to the interview. You have to call them. They have to be available by phone. They are technically not allowed to be inside the room with you. Again, these, interviews, if you go to a green card interview, the rooms are small, right? So the rooms are small. There's plexiglass covering between your side and the officer, the USCIS officer side. It's kind of squished. So they're trying to limit the number of people that are present in the office for a green card interview. Okay, so technically you're not allowed to take them. I can tell you that I've gone to 2 interviews in the recent month or so, in my location here, in Arlington, Virginia, and we've taken interpreters both times in person. So heads up that is possible. Okay. Yams is saying, for contact, what code must I use? If you want to contact our office, call us 703-348-1663. Just call the office. We're in the US. So maybe 1, I guess. Is that if you're calling from outside of the US, it's just 001 is the code is the country code. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but our phone number is 703-348-1663. Yamd is saying, are you from India? Yes, I was born in India, and my parents immigrated, which is why I feel very passionate about the work that we're doing here and helping people to build their lives in the U.S. So we feel, a lot of my staff they are immigrants or they are passionate about immigration. So essentially, yeah, I feel very, very passionate about the work that I'm doing. We represent both companies. I'm sponsoring individuals for work visas and green cards. We also represent individuals in humanitarian cases, victims of crime. So we have been working on this for a very, very long time. And we handle all types of immigration cases. Okay, if you want to schedule a consultation with me, they're done directly with me, either on Zoom or by phone, just based on your preference. You can let the person that answers the phone, her name is Ara. She just joined us, so say hello to her if you do give us a call today. But if you can talk to Ara and just let her know you prefer phone or Zoom, and based on your preference, we'll schedule the consultation and conduct the consultation in that way. If you're wondering what is my preference is Zoom, because it's the closest to one-on-one, but also I share my screen. I can share process documents with you. Kind of show you the different steps involved. We can go through all of our payment options. So I prefer Zoom. We can still do that by phone, so it's not an issue at all. It's just we can't be looking at the same document at the same time. Okay, so give us a call if you want to schedule a consultation. We handle all types of immigration cases. You can reach me at 703-348-1663. I look forward to speaking with you. Okay, Mike. Mike seems to be a funny guy here. All right. Dark is saying, what about if you come to New York and get married legally? Great. Yeah. If you get married legally, most people should, all of your marriages, no matter, where you get married, outside the U.S., inside the U.S., should be legal. And if you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you'd qualify to apply for a green card. All right. Diva says, can you speak English to a Gujarati interpreter? You can bring a Gujarati interpreter if you need one. All right. Okay, this is great. So Ambika's question is about when will USCIS start giving an employment authorization document to a U visa applicant? So let me say that again. When will USCIS start giving employment authorization document, EAD, work permit, for a U visa application? That is actually really awesome now. So that law has changed recently. It used to take a very, very long time to get work authorization. It would take years, over a year, almost 2 years to get work authorization if you applied for a U visa. For those that are not familiar with a U visa, that is for victims of crime or people that have witnessed crimes and they've reported it to the police and cooperated with the police for an investigation. It's a cool opportunity for people that are out of status. If you've witnessed this and you've cooperated with the police, you would get a U visa, which is permission to stay in the U.S., and you get work authorization based on that. And ultimately, that leads to a green card. And of course, once you have a green card for a certain number of years, you can apply for citizenship. So it's really a path eventually to citizenship. It's a long path, but it is a path to citizenship. If you have witnessed a crime, you've reported it to the police, you've cooperated with the police, the crime, has to be qualifying, but generally, most people that call us do qualify. Okay, so give us a call if you've witnessed a crime and you think you might qualify for a U visa or you want to find out more about a U visa. You can reach us at 703-348-1663. The cool thing that Ambika, I haven't gotten to it yet, but Ambika is asking this question: how long does it take to get a work permit for a U visa? So before you had to wait a really long time, but the law recently changed. it recently changed so that you can get a work permit when you apply for the U visa. So you apply for a work permit at the same time as your U visa, and you should get it in about 6 months or less. So which is super exciting. It allows you to work while you're here in the US, waiting for the U visa to get approved, waiting for a U visa to become available for you, because there's only a certain number a year that are authorized. So they can only issue about 10,000 a year. So, there's a long wait list for a U visa, but the good news is you can get a work permit much sooner than the visa is available for you. So that lets you, start your life and build your life here in the US. So you get work permit and social security number. Okay. Call us if we can help you with that. We're at 703-348-1663. All right, Mike. Mike wants to call and arrange for a Zoom call. Sure. Call my office, 703-348-1663. Yams is saying, I'm from South Africa. Okay. All right. The country code. Yes, the country code is US. It's 1001. I think it's 001. Maybe it's 011. All right. Mike, I don't think that I won't address your question because it's kind of silly. All right. Yeah, no, there's no specific requirement for a male applying for a green card, if that's what you're wondering. And no one's checking that either. All right. Edwin says, if I don't have all the money for a service, do you take payment plans? Yes. So for most services, we do offer payment plans. We have an initial deposit and then we have monthly payments. So it depends on what you're looking for. We can certainly accommodate. We can try to accommodate that, but we do have set payment plans or a paid in full option as well. Okay, Karen says, good afternoon. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Karen is saying, is it worth to do an H4 EAD considering there is a visa renewal in August 22, or do during an extension based on the current situation? I would apply for an H4 EAD, as soon as possible. You would have to essentially, you can use your husband's status to show how long he's in status, right? And H4 is for a dependent of an H1B worker. Okay. Yeah. So I would apply for it as soon as possible. If you're going to do an extension, you can extend your status up to 6 months before it expires. So you can request an extension now. So, yeah, I think it makes sense. If you want to talk specifically about your case, give us a call. We're at 703-348-1663. Mike says, as a British citizen, what are my options to live in America? Well, it just depends on your qualifications. It depends on if you're already in the US. It depends on if you have an employer that can sponsor you. It depends on a number of different things, right? So you might be eligible for a work visa. You might be eligible for a family-based option if someone can sponsor you, if you have a qualifying relative here in the U.S. that can sponsor you. Or maybe if you're already in the U.S., some of your experiences might lead you to receive a humanitarian option. So there's different ways to qualify for a green card, to qualify for a work permit, maybe even having a student visa, going to school would be the best option for you. So give us a call if we can help you. We're at 703-348-1663. Thanks everybody for joining me. Hi, Happy Singh. Hi, Shahad. Nice to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't, you're setting up a business. So Mike says, I'm setting up a business in the US. What are my options? Okay, great. So we can definitely talk to you about that. There are investment visas available as well, meaning if you start a business in the US, your business could be the way for you to get either e-visa. There's also another program called the Entrepreneurs Parole, like investor parole rule. I'm blanking on the name right now, but it's a new investment-based option for you to come and live in the U.S. to work on your business. All right. Give us a call. We can definitely do a consultation with all of these different things. Sometimes people call me for an H-1B, or they call me for an E-visa, which is an investment-based visa. And we talk about all of the different options, go through all of the different things. There is no minimum investment, Mike. There's no minimum investment for what I'm talking about, especially if you are a British citizen. Okay. Give us a call. All right. And we'll schedule a consultation. We'll talk more. 703-348-1663. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.